Now at 10 and streaming on crossroads.com. Good news for Victoria Water customers tonight. The latest on when you can drink from the tap again.
And the race against time in school emergencies gets a high-tech solution. These drones could be the answer.
Flash flood warnings across South Texas. Which areas face the biggest threat today?
We'll be taking a look at those areas of West Texas that got tremendous rainfall earlier today. For us, it was a pretty good day. We look for less rain chance and more sunshine. That'll also warm the temperature up. We'll talk about it coming up in a moment.
And will this be the night where Industrial Minor Girls softball team makes history and beats Washington County and heads to the regionals? I'll tell you that information later on in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shauna Curry.
And I'm Trenton Whiting, in for Don Brubaker.
Well, TCEQ has confirmed chlorine levels in Victoria's water supply are now where they need to be. Crews have already flushed the system from the treatment plant to the water towers and are now working through the rest of the city. Right now, the plant is pumping out 16 million gallons a day. That's double the usual amount. The city sent bacteria tests out this afternoon. If those come back clean, the boil water notice could be lifted as early as tomorrow. If there is any delay, then Wednesday, according to the city, is the backup plan. So this brings us to our viewer poll. We're asking you, how much are you spending on bottled water daily due to the boil water notice? And really all afternoon, all evening, it's been averaging right around $20 a day that people have been spending to get bottled water, whether that's for cooking, just your drinking water, whatever it may be. So if you have not voted, we still want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to share. And we thank everyone who has voted.
Tomorrow's Victoria City Council is meeting. At the top of their agenda is an update on that ongoing boil water notice. They'll also talk about officially closing off a small section of East Staten Avenue next to the railroad tracks after nearby landowners signed off on the idea. They'll also discuss a possible $650,000 facelift for Meadow Lane Park, with the city pitching in half. Plus, updates on the latest legislative session and a look ahead at capital improvement projects. A new Victoria County Fire Marshal is sworn in. Commissioners unanimously approved the appointment of Dan Porter this morning, with County Judge Ben Zeller swearing him in right after. Porter's no stranger to public safety. He's been serving since age 17, starting in the U.S. Navy as a firefighter and military police officer. He's worked in both Waller and Fort Bend counties and holds certifications from arson investigation to plans examination. In addition to his fire marshal duties, Porter also plans to be proactive with public engagement.
I do plan on putting together some initiatives and some plans to get out and do community events and help educate the public on fire prevention.
Porter plans to work as a liaison with all 11 county volunteer fire departments to help each one have access to the latest equipment and training.
Dangerous flooding hit parts of South Texas again this morning after a night of heavy rain. Some areas saw up to 6 inches, with the worst in Uvalde County, where the Frio River jumped to 15 feet. Around 2 a.m., up to 200 people were evacuated from the Concan area, which is a popular tourist spot. Flash flood warnings and watches remain in effect across the region, with more rain expected through Tuesday morning. So time now to check on our weather here in the Crossroads.
Absolutely. With that rain coming, we definitely want to check in with Maclovio Perez to see when it's coming and where it's hitting.
Yes, well, it's mostly western areas that we're concerned with. For us, we're actually looking at it drying out because of some Saharan dust. But as you can see, Austin, San Antonio, all the way out to Del Rio, they are under flood watches. The big rain occurred here. There, you see it right about there. That one fell apart, but guess what? Another big surge coming in for rain. Places like Concan, Leakey, and Uvalde are seeing huge rises on the Frio River. We'll talk more about it coming up after this, so a little bit later on. Back to you.
In Central Texas tonight, where last week's devastating floods claimed several lives, including young girls at camp. More dangerous flooding is now hitting that area.
Search teams still looking for victims have been told to move to higher ground. ABC's Mireya Villarreal is in Texas with the latest.
Tonight, residents across the Texas Hill Country on edge after rivers and creeks burst their banks and forced water rescues on Sunday. Crews battled a swift and powerful current to save this stranded driver stuck in waist-high water in McGregor, Texas, trying to throw him a life jacket, eventually taking him to safety in a boat.
Job number one is always saving lives, protecting lives, and finding those who have lost their lives.
After that July 4th flash flood killed at least 132 people along the Guadalupe River, today Kirk County on high alert with fresh rounds of rain urging search teams to move to higher ground. Officials say the number of people still missing has dropped from 160 to 101 as more victims have been identified and more of the missing accounted for. Officials today warning the search could last up to 6 months.
We've heard accounts of trailer after trailer after trailer being swept into the river with families in them. Can't find the trailers.
This is what all that recent rain has done. This is the Guadalupe River right behind me. It rose several feet in just a few hours. It certainly didn't look like this earlier today. The county says as of right now, they do have plans to bring in high-tech equipment like sonar to comb through the river, and they're also planning to drain 2 nearby lakes to try and search for the missing. Mireya Villarreal, ABC News, Kerrville, Texas.
The Massachusetts State Police is helping with the investigation into the cause of the fire at an assisted living facility that killed multiple people in Fall River Sunday night. The local fire chief said dozens of firefighters arrived to find heavy flames at the Gabriel House complex, and the elderly residents were hanging out of their windows looking to be rescued. Officials said at least 9 people died and more than 24 others were injured. 5 firefighters were taken to hospitals with minor injuries.
24 Democratic-led states are suing the Trump administration over nearly $7 billion in frozen education funds. They say the money was supposed to go out by July 1st, but is now on hold as the administration reviews whether the programs align with its priorities. Connecticut's Attorney General says the delay is causing chaos for schools trying to get ready for the upcoming year. States like California, New York, and Colorado have all signed on, along with D.C. And mental health programs could bear the brunt of $600 million in federal cuts to Texas schools. To read this full Texas Tribune article, go to crossroadstoday.com.
New technology could help stop school shooters in their tracks. The Austin-based startup Campus Guardian Angel is showing off drones designed to protect students and help first responders during school shootings. Small enough to fit in a backpack, the drones are equipped with cameras, metal tips to shatter glass, and pepper ball guns. They can fly up to 100 miles per hour and even crash into a suspect with enough force to knock them down. The company says the drones can reach a shooter's location within 15 seconds, buying critical time before police arrive.
And so what we're trying to provide is that layer that can get there within seconds to be able to get the assailant doing anything except shooting children.
Several North Texas departments are already testing similar programs with drones acting as first responders.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. You can see all of your news from us here at 25 News Now there on YouTube. Hit the like button and click the notification bell to receive alerts. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, there could be a big change coming in U.S. policy on Russia. President Trump is dropping some hints, and it looks like NATO might be a part of the plan.
And the Victoria Generals break baseball tradition. This new edition is getting fans on their feet.
Behind closed doors, too many voices go unheard. In Breaking the Silence, domestic violence on the Crossroads.
People who are going through this know that they are not alone and that they can get the help they need and the help that they deserve, that they don't need to be scared. There is people that care about them.
Amaya Norman brings their stories to light and shows how our community is stepping up to help. A 25 News Now Extra you can't afford to miss.
The Justice Department has directed federal agencies to cut the number of multilingual services they offer. Monday's memo comes months after President Trump signed an executive order that designated English as the official language of the U.S. The Justice Department says the effort to get rid of programs for people with limited English proficiency will help streamline federal processes. The memo also says agencies can redirect the money to programs that will improve English proficiency and assimilation. But the agency says if a multicultural program is deemed necessary, then there should also be a note stating English is the official language used by the government.
Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell has asked the central bank's inspector general to take a closer look at its $2.5 billion headquarters renovation. Powell made the request weeks ago after getting grilled by lawmakers during a Senate hearing last month. Since then, top Trump officials have accused him of lying under oath about the upgrades. Now, a White House deputy chief of staff is joining the government group overseeing the project, calling it a renovation with massive cost overruns. President Trump signaling a seismic shift on Ukraine tonight, deploying new U.S. weapons, and what he's now saying about Vladimir Putin.
Ian Pannell has more from Ukraine.
Tonight, a major about-face for President Trump, announcing he's selling US-made air defense weapons to NATO to help defend Ukraine from Russia's relentless assault. The move comes after months of praising Vladimir Putin, saying he believed he wanted peace. Today, he threw in the towel.
And I'm disappointed in President Putin because I thought we would have had a deal 2 months ago, but it doesn't seem to get there.
It was the deadliest month for civilians in Ukraine. Russian missile strikes in major cities increasing from a year ago. Trump growing frustrated.
We thought we had a deal numerous times. I'd get home, I'd say, First Lady, I had the most wonderful talk with Vladimir. I think we're finished. And then I'll turn on the television, or she'll say to me one time, wow, that's strange because they just bombed a nursing home. I said, what?
Now, along with those Patriot missile systems, President Trump threatening severe tariffs within 50 days unless Russia agrees to a peace deal. President Zelensky, who met with the U.S. Special Envoy earlier, speaking to Trump tonight, welcoming the move.
Importers gave the Port of Los Angeles a major boost in June as they rushed to beat looming tariffs. The Port of Los Angeles saw a record-breaking cargo volume, up 32% from May. Importers were racing to get those goods in before the July 9th tariff pause expired. Now, with a new deadline of August 1st, businesses are scrambling once again. President Trump's latest tariff plan includes steep hikes on goods from the EU, Canada, China, and more. That's pushing retailers to stock up early, especially ahead of the holiday season.
The Department of Defense is teaming up with artificial intelligence companies. The Chief Digital and Artificial Intelligence Office announced contracts with leading AI giants. Those include Anthropic, Google, OpenAI, and xAI. Each company is being given up to $200 million to help the agency adopt AI to address critical national security challenges.
Well, good evening, everybody. We're looking at 80 degrees, but I'm sure you'll agree it was a fairly nice evening now that, we've got a little bit slightly less humidity out there. 94 is our high, which is exactly where we're supposed to be this time of year. We've been up to 102. The rain chance goes away for us, but will it go away for how long? That's the question. We'll be talking about that coming up in a moment. Well, for the next couple of days, we're going to see less rain opportunity here, which is fine. You know, what we had is just a little bitty light showers that popped up in the late afternoon with the heating, with the sea breeze. But, you know, we've been talking about this all day. This morning alone, somewhere between Sonora, Kerrville, and Del Rio, or actually Eagle Pass, they got 8 to 10 inches of rain. So now the Frio River is in flood, and it's roaring down going south. Now you think, okay, they got that over with, there's going to be a break. There's not a break. As a matter of fact, you can see right about here, we had the little afternoon showers that went north. Here is even Bexar County is under the gun, and you can see how this is a big cluster of storms right about here, just getting ready to move back into the area. Well, now the Frio River goes right by Uvalde, and they're getting flooding. It's out of its banks at about 15, 16 feet. So pretty much every river is now being affected, because even the Rio Grande got enough to actually cause some flooding down near the Laredo area. So it's been one for the record books. So I tell you, folks, once again, you'll see there's Junction, Kerrville, right over the flash flood area, and all the way south. So we continue getting that heavy rain. Now for us, we're going to get a little bit of that afternoon Saharan dust up here, and as a result, looking at less chance for any rain in the Crossroads area. Once again, we see the flash flood watch area, and of course the rivers are now raging. There's a little silver lining behind all the damage, is that the Frio River will be going right into Choke Canyon, and we'll be able to capture that water as well. It's just that, you know, if you have interest cattle or tractors down there, it's going to be a little muddy. Other big news in the Atlantic is that we have another system that's now potentially developing. This is Invest 93L. This is likely to become a tropical storm, but it's not expected to get really big because it's so close to land. As you can see right about here, in the next day or so, it's going to drift over Florida and then right along the immediate Gulf Coast before it makes that little turn right about here. Now you're seeing, what's all the wiggly lines? That's what we call the spaghetti plot. Each line is a different computer model and its opinion as to what's going to happen. So what we're looking for here is consensus. If everybody's kind of agreeing the same thing, we're in good shape. If it's doing this and doing, you know, then that doesn't help at all. All right, here's the Saharan dust layer that's coming in. By tomorrow, I think you'll really see it. That's for Tuesday and Wednesday, and on into about Thursday, and then after that we'll watch and wait to see what this tropical system does. So for tomorrow in Port Lavaca, things are looking good. If you're going to be out there, we're looking for a high of about 93, mostly sunny skies. How about that? And in Cuero, less chance of rain, and I think you'll get a good day of drying things out a little bit. I know some people trying to get back in the field and just a little soggy right about now, but you should get up to about a 94 high temperature. So I'm looking at less rain opportunity, more sunshine, hotter weather, temperatures going up into the upper 90s because of the abundant sunshine, and just a garden variety chance of something happening this coming weekend. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we've got a QR code. If you scan that with your phone, you can put Crossroads Today on your phone. Shauna, back to you.
Well, it's not every day you see a dance team take the field at a baseball game, but this summer the Victoria Generals are mixing things up a bit.
Yeah, they've added a high-energy dance team to keep fans pumped up between innings and throughout the whole game. Absolutely. In this 25 News Now Extra, sports reporter Ray Robinson has more on this unique edition.
The Victoria Generals are always looking for ways to keep their fans engaged throughout a game. This concept was all thought up by Generals Vice President Mike Yoakum. Thus, this season saw them introduce the 4 Stars. The expectations of such a group was challenging, but it was one that Coach Alina, along with the dancers, all embraced.
Well, when you see dance in a professional setting, you usually think Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, so we're thinking NFL, we're thinking NBA dancers, so this is definitely something different because it's baseball, and we're like, when do we find the time to dance? It's a game that can keep moving, so it's been fun figuring out where we can put our dancers, having them be a part of the community and the games and all of that.
because as a dancer, you know, you love to dance. It doesn't ever go away for me, in my opinion. And I love just coming out here and dancing and being on the field again. It has reminded me why I love doing dance in the first place.
Coming back here for the community and being able to dance here at a baseball field, again, I've never danced at a baseball field, so it was a really fun experience and I'm glad I'm a part of it.
These performers all have experience in performing for similar crowds, so the opportunity to take part in the group's first ever season almost became a no-brainer.
I went on to dance collegiately at Blinn College, danced for 2 years there, and then I retired after my second year, and I thought my dancing was like to an end, and then I got a text from one of my former coaches about the 4 stars, and I thought, well, it's not over.
Yeah, I just did drill team as a little more dancing, and that's how I got into it. With that, I just got a little text saying, hey, you want to do this? Because, you know, my sister was a part of Strutters, and then they were like, well, we know you do dance too, and I was like, yes, I would love to join back into dancing again.
And with the newest addition to what hopefully seems like a new tradition in the community, Alina hopes that programs like the 4 Stars inspires others to try something new.
Never be afraid of like trying something new. I mean, adding dance into baseball, I never thought that's something I would be a part of, but it's also great because it's brought me out to the baseball games every night. It's a great family event. I bring my son and my family. So just try something new in Victoria. Any event, go out there and support our community, definitely.
Ray Robinson, KAVU TV 25 News Now, Sports.
Great addition there to Generals games, right? To get the dancing, get everyone excited for games like that. And again, I can't wait to see what they kind of keep doing there in the future. But speaking of being a part of something new for the future, former Victoria East there, so there is taking a big, massive step. Find out what happened coming up in sports. Now, again, hey, the moment, again, we're going to look at this between here. Victoria East and UHV pitcher there, Brady Parker. He realized that he was drafted by the Colorado Rockies there with the 347th pick out there in the 12th round of the MLB draft. And Parker is the second player ever there from UHV to be drafted into the MLB. And then 10th Victoria player picked there in the draft, first since Zach Lee there in 2021. Again, he recorded there last year 252 strikeouts in his 3 years, and he helped the Jags reach 2 NAI opening round appearances. So Parker said about this opportunity that I'm really thankful for the Rockies, again, for this opportunity. Couldn't be happier or ready to see whatever it takes them going to the next level. And tomorrow you're going to hear a conversation with me when I talk to Parker and head coach Jonathan Stavino about this massive opportunity in history for UHV baseball. Now, from one major accomplishment to another, where Industrial 10U Girls Little League softball team is they only had one more win away, advance the regionals. Well, guess what? They got the bats going early. They had the lead there 3-0 there going into the first inning. You got Kirsten Thomas and then Corey Weinheimer. They had their pitching going on. That would be enough to win their 3-1. They officially now advance there to regionals there next week. Congrats to Industrial Softball for this honor. Now, also this past weekend, though, Full Force Gymnastics had great representation at the Stars and Stripes National Championships out there in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they had some players like Harper Majewski. She became national champion out there in the level 6, 9, and 10-year-old double mini national champions. And Harper's win, that extends the coach Janet Gadway's streak of becoming a national champion for 25 years in a row. And their other placers were Taylor Kohler. She finished in 5th place. Mackenzie Cantrell 7th, and Riley O'Connor in 9th. They were all in the same group when they got all that placement. And Corey Weinheimer won silver in level 7 double mini with Isabella Briggs, and Sarah Hughes finished in the same group as well. Now, there were a lot more places for Full Force this past weekend, so if you want to see the full list, just go there to crossfordstoday.com/sports. Now over to more accomplishments, but over to the track, where this past weekend the Cuero Track Select Club competing in the TAF regionals out there in San Antonio. They did really well. They had a lot of places from 8U, the girls 4x100 meter team. They won gold. They also got Ava Perez won the 100 and 200 meter dash out there for 14U. And then last week's athlete of the week, Gracie Martinez, got 2nd in the 800 meter and then 3rd there in the high jump. And then now over to the boys, Lyndon Bashaw won gold there in the 400 meter. And then Bradley Hill won the gold there at 110 hurdles, and then 2nd in long jump, within the 10U boys being champions out there in gold in the 4x100 meter relay. So just like Full Force, you can see all the results. Just go there to crossfordstoday.com/sports. And finally over there to volleyball, we had star returner goalie volleyball libero and Carolyn Youngblood. She's going to represent gold in the TGCA All-Star Game. It's going to be hosted by the Texas Girls Coach Association. The game will be tomorrow night, with the game starting at 7:30 p.m. out there in Arlington, Texas. It's a tremendous honor to recognize their talent on the court and her leadership. Congrats again to Carolyn Youngblood for being named to this prestigious All-Star Game. And that's going to do it here in sports. Trent and Shauna, back to you.
Thank you, Max, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, a surprise spectacle off the coast of Rio, how playful humpback whales are drawing crowds and changing what researchers thought they knew.
Watch tonight and I'll give you Jimmy's phone number. Is it more exciting to be here with me or working with Tom Cruise?
I mean, I don't think you need to ask me that question. Obviously you.
See?
Well, Mattel is releasing a new line of Barbie dolls that are total Bettys. If you get that, then, you know, we know what generation you're from. In honor of the 30th anniversary of the movie Clueless, the toy maker has designed both a Cher and a Dion Barbie. The two besties sport their classic ensembles from the hit 90s classic. Of course, they have their cell phones.
Got to.
And of course, a learner's permit for Cher. The Barbies are available for pre-order at major retailers for around $60.
I think we have that movie on DVD back in my house.
It's always a good movie.
I'll have to watch that. That was over my head, I guess. Playful humpback whales put on a show off the coast of Rio de Janeiro this month, leaping out of the water and showing off their tail fins. Marine biologists say the whales are arriving earlier and in greater numbers, and they're bigger than usual. Researchers are looking into what's behind the shift, but believe environmental factors are playing a role. And while whale watching is still new to Rio, tour operators say it's already building strong connections with local communities and bringing in some extra cheese while promoting marine awareness. So I've never seen a whale in person. That's pretty cool.
That's one of those things you want to get as close as you can, but you don't want to get too close.
Get a little boat out there.
Yeah,
you don't
have
want to be in the
careful.
splash zone.
No.
Okay.
No,
Thank you.
definitely not.
Yeah,
And, you know, and at that time I always said, God, I'd like to be below the water to see it.
And see
that
them
would be
swimming.
cool.
That would be cool.
something.
But from a distance.
Safe distance. Anyway, folks, we're looking for more sun, less rain, and higher temperatures, getting up into the mid-90s. So, yep, it'll be warm. No real problem for us. It's on the sunny, dry side until about the weekend when the Gulf air sort of rolls back in and gives us a slight chance. But other than that, we're doing fine. You know, we've got plenty of rain. We just need to let it dry up and soak back into the ground and let folks get back in the fields and get things done because it's harvest time pretty soon.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll move over dogs. There is another four-legged best friend we're celebrating. Tomorrow is National I Love Horses Day.
Me too.
From hauling wagons to starring in the Kentucky Derby, horses have been helping humans for centuries. A fun fact, their hooves are made of the same stuff as our fingernails.
That's weird.
Interesting. So whether you saddle up or just admire from afar, perfect day to show some love to these majestic animals.
Absolutely.
Very pretty.
Yeah, really.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Yes, join us for Sunrise in the Morning.